Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Force here with some more Friday Night Magic. Today I will be playing Mind Maze. Why? What is that? How is that even associated with? All right, we're playing the Mind Maze deck. This is the blue Phantasm Illusion deck thingy. This really isn't an aggressive enough start for me. Obviously, I love the Phantasmal image, but there's no real great copy here. So we're gonna draw a new hand, and that's looking a little bit better, I'd say. None of our fantastic turn 1 drops, but we do have the Lord of the Unreal and 2 Phantasmal images on top of it, plus an unsummon. So there you go, there you go, there you go. There you go, can't really complain about that. All right, we're gonna be playing, yeah, the Thought Scour here. Okay, that's nice. Get rid of the, oh man, that really sucks. I could have used that. But anyways, yeah, this is the Phantasm deck, so we've got a bunch of Phantasms and then ways to pump them up. Specifically the Lord of the Unreal. Illusion creatures you control get +1/+1 and have hexproof. Now, the idea here, though, is that I drop a Phantasmal image next turn and copy him. Except I can't because there's a Last Grasp, so that's it. What is this guy saying over here? At last, a game with, hey, thanks. Good luck, have fun. Oh, that's such a bummer. That is literally the biggest bummer because now I can't Phantasmal image the Lord of the Unreal, which would have been all sorts of craziness, and now literally I can't do anything, so we're just going to have to pass the turn. Saying you too. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Where the streets have no name. All right, so we got a Dream Fracture. Let's see if we're gonna be plopping that down right now. No. Yeah, I'm actually gonna do that. But why am I doing this? This is not super worth countering. Well, the reason was that right there. I wasn't sure if I was going to draw into an island, and I wanted to increase the likelihood of me getting an island on the next turn, because frankly, at this point, I sort of desperately need to be playing this Phantasmal Dragon. Because I need a creature in play that I can Phantasmal image copy. So we're gonna be plopping him down right now. Now, since we're playing against a blue-black deck, unfortunately what this means is he could potentially have lots of things to just screw up my whole Phantasm idea, because he can target them. Now, remember, this was supposed to be our savior, but he just needs to target our Phantasms and then they disappear. And now that they disappear, my Phantasmal image can't come and play and copy them. So there's nothing. I'm SOL right now, essentially, is how this is going. Now, I do have the Snapcaster Mage, which lets me, I get to play this and then I get to pull an instant or sorcery from my graveyard. It gets flashback until end of turn. And so I can actually, so it's only an instant or sorcery, unfortunately. Alright, so enters the battlefield, target instant or sorcery card in your graveyard gains flashback until end of turn. The flashback cost is equal to the mana cost. So basically what that means is I play this and I can instantly play an instant or sorcery from my graveyard. I can flashback it into play. So that's going to be doing something like me flashbacking a Dream Fracture. That's something that we could potentially do. Right now, though, during our turn, we could play it. It's got flash, though, so I can just play it in response to him doing something, which I may end up doing for a Dream Fracture, to be honest with you. Okay, so he's going to do that. So what I'm going to do is we're going to Snapcaster Mage. Then we're going to pick the Dream Fracture, confirm. Okay. Then we are going to, now that it has flashback, we can play it from our graveyard, so we are then going to play the Dream Fracture. Okay, flashback. And then we are going to counterspell with the flashback the Guild Mage. It's gonna let us draw into another card, and he's got another mage, so whatever, he just plays the other one. But again, the real reason I did that, the same reason for why I Dream Fractured before, was for the card draw, because unfortunately I need stuff and I don't have said stuff that I've got these 2 Phantasmal images, and again, I've got nothing to copy with them. It's a tremendous bummer, to be honest with you. Alright, so what I'll be doing now is attacking for 2. I'm assuming he's not going to block because he wants to use this for its utility, which is forcing me to discard or drawing cards for himself. This is just all around. This has been a really rough start to the... Well, we had an amazing start to the game, but the last grasp really kind of did us in, because this would be a much different game if there's Lord of the Unreal set in play, and then we would double Phantasmal Imaged it, and the Phantasmal Images in and of themselves can be mighty hilarious. Now he's trying to lobotomy me. I say no to that. Lobotomy would have allowed him to pull a card from my hand and then pull all copies of that, not only for my hand, but also for my library. Last time, that's the text I remember from when this thing was originally, from when this thing originally existed. It looks like that is in fact the case. All right, he's gonna attack me for 2. Okay, thank the Lord. So here we go. We might actually turn this bad boy around here. So here's the Lord of the Unreal. And then we're gonna Phantasmal Image into play, copying the Lord of the Unreal. Now the great thing about the copy is the copy protects itself with the hexproof craziness. It does the thing. You double them up, double or nothing. I don't know. This is what we needed. This is absolutely what we needed. So we're gonna swing him for 2 now. We still have the unsummon. We will be using the unsummon if he tries to target our Lord of the Unreal here, returning it to our hand and saving it. In fact, good job with the combo. Thank you very much. Luckily, I drew into that second Lord of the Unreal. There are 4 of them in the deck, so it's not that incredibly surprising that I drew into a second. Because again, the deck does... Alright, so he is attempting to Reign of Power. Untap all creatures you control and all creatures your opponent controls. To gain control of all creatures. Okay, so basically he would pull my creatures and attack me with them. What I'm gonna do to offset what he's doing here is I'm gonna unsummon my own Lord of the Unreal. This is gonna drop the buff from this Lord of the Unreal so that when he attacks me, he will be doing less damage. See what I'm saying here? And then I can still play it next turn and get the buff from it, essentially, will be my game plan. So he's gonna attack me with a 2/1. And he doesn't want to attack me with the 3/3 because I'll just block and it die. I don't mind losing the Snapcaster Mage if it means that this guy's gonna die. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna choose to block my creature that he's attacking me with his creature. So his dies now. End of my turn, I get this dude back. There we go. Alright, so we're gonna play down a Lord of the Unreal. We're going to play then a second Phantasmal Image, targeting our original Lord of the Unreal. Pumping this guy up because he is also a illusion. In addition to being the copy of the Lord of the Unreal, he is his initial card, which is an illusion. So that then pumps him up, and then we attack for 5, which you look at that. So now the big danger is board clears. If he does, at the very least, I can unsummon my creature, returning it to my hand, so I get to save one of them for if he's got something like that. Frankly, I don't know all of these Duels decks crazy well, you know? I play for Friday Night Magic, but really beyond that, not too much. I think part of it's because I just don't like the Duels 2014 metagame as opposed to the Duels 2013 one. I think I just enjoyed the different deck options that one had. Well, let's see what my opponent here has. Mr. Replicant Deckard. Deckard Kane. Really bad at things like that. Alright, so he's gonna be popping down asleep. That's gonna tap my creatures. They don't untap during the next untap step. I guess I just let that go through. The unsummon doesn't do much for me except allow me to play this like as a blocker. But he doesn't have any creatures to attack with in an upcoming turn, so it wouldn't make that much of a difference. The problem is though, they don't untap right now. Oh my lord, another Lord of the Unreal. Are you serious? Alright, here we go. We're gonna throw them in play. So now we've got 4 Lord of the Unreals in play. So that's gonna pump up these 2, turning them into 6/6s now. So they'll untap next untap step unless he plays another sleep or similar style card. And we do have quite the board. I think it's funny though that we don't have any other illusions besides these Lord of the Unreals. And again, the Phantasmal Imaged versions of said Lord of the Unreals. This has been a weird game. This has been a weird game for this deck. This deck is supposed to go off much more aggressive. There's a handful of early game Phantasms, 1-drops. The Phantasmal Bear really is a big thing. So there's the Dimir Guildmage. He doesn't have the mana to force a discard for me because he needs 4, he only has 3. So that's gonna give him a blocker Unfortunately, little does he know that I have this unsummon here. And, do I want to do that pre-combat? Yeah, because I don't want him to block a 6/6, preventing the damage to go through, then I would only do 10. So, actually, I can do this before he's able to declare blockers. So we're gonna attack. Before blockers are declared, we will unsummon this, returning it to his hand, so he can't block and prevent a 6/6 damage for the turn, so fatal damage goes through, and that is the game. Game number 1 finished. Let's move on to number 2. And our next game is against Nose Candy. That's cool. I'm such a wise ass. I don't know what my problem is. All right, Nose Candy gets to go first. Opening hand. You know, it's actually not bad. The only thing that we're missing is the Lord of the Unreal. But since there's 4 in the deck, it's not a terrible chance that we could potentially draw into some. And I don't know what he's playing. Maybe he doesn't have a lot of targets. So I like this because we've got a nice 1 and 2 drop. If we draw into a Lord of the Unreal, we're going to be sitting pretty. We will be sitting very pretty, but this is a nice aggro start. We've got a 1, 2, 3, and 4 play, as well as a unsummon, and would you look at that, we also drew into a counterspell. Although, it'll be a long time until we have the free mana to use that, most likely. So, next turn will be the Krovikin, or Krovokian. I've always pronounced this, obviously, incredibly wrong. I've always said Krovokian, but there's clearly no I before that A at the end here, so... Is it Krovikin? Krovikin Mist? I know it's like Viking-esque, essentially. That's about how far my knowledge extends to that, but I know it's Viking-related, right? Anyways, none of that matters right now. We're gonna swing with a Phantasmal Bear for 2. 2 to his face. Let's see if he decides to block. We are playing against a Exalted deck. Exalted. And next turn will be an Illusionary Servant. Can come down with a second forest now, 2 forest and a plains. He then swings for 1, that turns into 2 because of the Exalted. I will not be blocking. No thank you. I would like to keep my Mist in play. And this turn we're gonna be swinging for 5. Hallelujah. Pre-combat, Illusionary Servant comes into play. Pre-combat because we want the Mist to get pumped up. And then we go ahead and attack for 5 Izzle. 5 damage to the face, bring him down to 13. And next turn, we could drop the Phantasmal Dragon. Because we will have that 4th. Still hoping to draw into a Lord of the Unreal. Definitely makes a big difference in this deck. I could not pass up this opening hand though. There was just such synergy with the 1, 2, and 3 drops in hand. And the fact that we drew into necessary mana for a, I don't know. I don't want to block. I want to let go through. That is exactly the type of thing that I was worried about. Look at that. So he's pumping it up right now, +3/+3, and had I blocked, I would have lost my creature. So go ahead, deal me 5 damage. That is fine. Because right now, I'll be swinging at you for 6, 7, 8. And then some. Yeah, we're gonna drop the Phantasmal Dragon. He's a 5/5, but he's also an illusion, pumping up this illusion 1. And then we've got 7, 8, 9 damage going through. Nose Candy ain't happy with all these illusions. Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. I'll tell you what. The illusions, they be rocking his house. What am I even saying? Nobody knows. All right, so he's saving for a blocker. Not really sure, though. We're going to unsummon pre-combat. We've got our counterspell if he tries any crazy shenanigans, but it looks like that's going to be victory. We don't need to overkill, though. Well, maybe yeah, let's just better safe than sorry. I don't feel like he's going to swing me haste for 13 damage next turn. Okay, that's game number 2. Let's move on to another. And our last opponent, being Nose Candy, I think it's just fitting that we follow it up with an opponent by the name of 40-Ounce Casualty. What's going on tonight? Where are these people coming from? Yikes, you don't want this in your opening hand. No, you don't. That's something you want to draw into. I'm going to draw a new hand. Besides, beyond that, the hand was pretty awful. And, oh no. Oh man, I've got 24 lands in the deck, so there's a chance we could draw into stuff and this could be worthwhile. We're gonna keep it. It's the only reason I'm keeping it with 1 land is because we have 2 1-drops, the Phantasmal Bear plus the Jace's Phantasm. Now, the concern here is that the next play that we have cost 3. So even if we draw into a land next turn, we'd have to draw into a land the turn after to follow this up with some plays. We've got a couple of Frost Breaths, which are nice. We've got our Illusionary Servant, which is nice. I just don't know that we're gonna have the opportunity to do any of this shenanigans. All right, Bushido. When a creature of Bushido gets a temporary boost to power and toughness whenever it blocks or becomes blocked. So, what this means, I hate it. When he blocks, he's going to get +1/+1, turning him into a 2/2. So that would allow him to trade with the bear. Now, Bushido doesn't help him when he's attacking. But again, now he has got a clear blocker for my Phantasmal Bear. I don't like that, so I pass it along. I can't have that happen. Geez, 2 people. 2 people tonight. Now I feel bad for me. I mean, whatever. That could mean anything, right? 40-ounce casualty. That could mean anything. He could be talking about anything. Maybe he ate 40 ounces of brownies, and then he slipped into a coma and knocked himself unconscious and died. Maybe that's what 40-ounce casualty is supposed to mean. Clearly. Oh, good lord. Good lord. Bushido 2. That's horrible for me. Now we do have the swing in the air, which is nice, and a good thing here is that he has to attack each turn, so he's not going to be able to continue to save him for a blocker. Problem is, again, if I block this, he gets his Bushido, so I'm just going to let the 1 damage go through. I'm in a very precarious situation here. In fact, I'm pretty sure I'm screwed, because look at this. I've got all 3 drops, nothing to do with them. Here's my 2nd man. I can't do anything with that. Now, luckily, I can swing him in the air, so that makes me happy. But still, this is going to be a hard-fought game, I think, against this Bushido. This crazy, crazy Bushido. Now, again, thankfully, this thing will be attacking, so. The thing I worry about, though, is him. Man. So this Bushido deck is crazy because of the creature enhancements that it has, basically. So that thing has to attack. He's really got no say in the matter. We take the 1 rather than blocking, allowing him to turn into a 3/3 and losing our 2/2. That makes no sense. There is an Isamaru Hound of Konda. Or Konda. Okay, an unsummon. I don't really see a super use for it right now. I still can't really attack with the bear because I just end up losing it. Obviously, I could unsummon one thing, but that doesn't change much. So if I attack and he chooses to block, I can unsummon to prevent him from killing my creature. But my damage also doesn't go through in that process. The creature is still blocked, even if I return it to his hand, so. I desperately need another mana right now, and then we can start doing some stuff. The Frost Breaths will be actually huge. They will be huge. Oh, good lord. That is awful. During his turn, his creatures get +2/+0. During my turn, they got +0/+2. So now is a turn to unsummon. So what we do, well, there is a blocking declaration time here. I'm gonna take the 6. I'm gonna unsummon his Hound. Is that what I want to do? Yeah, I'm gonna unsummon his Hound. Get that back in your hand. Okay, so things are looking horrible right now. It's not completely over, because if I draw mana, I can Frost Breath. But things are looking pretty bad. I don't need a Frost Breath now, though. I can do it. Actually, I think I need to. Well, I can do it before he declares attackers. I guess that's all that really matters. All right, so I'm gonna Swing for 3. And then we're gonna pass the turn. So he's gonna go second main phase. Once he goes into the combat phase, I'm gonna pause immediately. I hope I can do this the way I want to. There's a sword, and he can equip it. He will. In response to him equipping, we're gonna Frost Breath. We're gonna tap these 2 creatures. They don't untap during their next untap step. Bam. Bam. Perfect. Perfect. He wasted a turn playing the sword, activating it, and now his creatures are tapped, and they're gonna continue to stay tapped. Now at this point, Divination, Servant. I guess getting the Servant in play would be good. We're gonna get the Servant in play here. This is what we're gonna do. Servant in play gives us a nice 3/4. I kind of wanted to Divination because I really want to draw into a Lord of the Unreal, but oh well, this is where we are. So these guys stay tapped now. Now he can still play another creature and then equip it with the Sword of War and Peace, but what he doesn't know is we've got a second Frost Breath. Oh my god, a second Glory of Warfare. And then he's gonna Hound of Konda. Alright. Now, let's see here. So we have got the Frost Breath. Now this can allow us to force our damage through. We can tap these 2, forcing 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage through. I mean, we have this damage no matter what, but that's pretty bad. I might need to save the Frost Breath for when he attacks to make sure that I get whatever the sword is attached to. Yeah, because I can't have that sword be doing damage to me. So what I'm going to do right now is actually just attack with this, with the flyers. I need to stop his sword from doing damage because he gains life for it. So, we're gonna wait now. Now, let's see what he's got going on here. Okay, he's going into combat phase. In response to him declaring combat, I think tapping creatures used to stop an attack if they had already been declared, but I don't think that is the case anymore. So I'm gonna choose to tap both of these pre-combat. Now he can't switch the equipment because this is done as a sorcery effect. So he has to do it in his main phases, not during combat. He will attack for 5. I will let it go through. Second main phase, he has creatures, almost guarantee it. So there's a blocker for this guy. And that's gonna... He can equip that over there to give him +1/+1. Making him a 2/5 during my attack phase. So yeah, he's gonna equip that now. Becomes a 6/2 right now, but that's gonna get switched around with his Glory to Warfare here. Ay ay ay. So I kind of need to Divination because I need a Hail Mary here. An unsummon, basically. He has a kill next turn. I can save for all blockers, but then I lose everything and I have no chance of killing him. So we're gonna Divination. We need a Lord of the Unreal or an Unsummon. Oh my. Okay, but that's still not enough damage. 3, 4, 5, 6. That's only 6 damage. Pretty sure, yeah, I think we're screwed. I think no matter what, we're done. We have 3, 4, 5, 6 damage in play. And he's got pretty much fatal damage next turn. To prevent fatal damage, I have to block with everything, and I'll lose my creatures. Block with everything plus an unsummon. And then I don't think there's anything I could potentially do to deal 8 damage to him. So, because we're at 7. Well, I guess I don't have to block everything. I only need to block 2 and unsummon 1. So I can attack for 3. Because I can let one of the 5 attacks go through. Oh, those are still tapped. Right. Well then, I should have attacked with a second creature. I should have attacked with this. That would have brought him down to 4. I might still win. There's a potential for me to win now. All right. So we let the 5 go through. Unless he plays another creature, we have Fatal next turn. But if he plays another creature, we don't. He could also target one of my illusions, forcing a sacrifice, just because that's how these things work. Oh my. Oh my. Oh my god. Are you serious? Do we really do this? Is this really gonna be a win? Alright, I'm gonna Lord of the Unreal. We've got counter spells too. I'm positive we win. Oh my, oh my. Oh, this is crazy. Okay. So we attack for 7. Prior to him declaring blockers, we unsummon his 1 blocker. Means 7 goes through unless he can kill off one of these. Which he can't, so that is the victory! Holy hell! What a game. Man, oh man, that was crazy. Literally, that was insane. I can't even. I mean, even without the Lord of the Unreal, we had that game. We had just enough damage. That is unbelievable. All right, so we're gonna take a look here at the deck list that I've got for Mind Maze. Starting off with 1 Jace's Phantasm, one of our illusions. The pump up, very rare that it occurs against graveyard focused decks that'll work. But in and of itself, I don't have anything to be milling them, so it's basically just a 1-drop illusion, which is nice to have, especially since you can follow it up with a Lord of the Unreal. We've got to the Phantasmal Bears, 3 of them available in the deck, 1 for 2/2. The Unsummons, either to save our own creatures or to bounce threats. The Phantasmal Images, 4 of those, copying creatures, ideally copying a Lord of the Unreal. 2/2 for 2, gives your illusions +1/+1, but the biggest benefit is the hexproof, because they can't be targeted. We got the Snapcaster Mage, allowing us to pull back an instant or sorcery and give a flashback that's in our graveyard. Great for counter spells and things of that nature. Krovikan Mist, power and toughness equals to the number of illusions on the battlefield for 2. It's got flying, it's good. 2 counter spells, 2 illusionary servants. It's a nice, I'm sorry, is it 2 or 3? 3 illusionary servants, nice illusion to have. Dream Fracture, counter spell, they draw a card, we draw a card. Cancel, counter spell. Frost Breath, tapping creatures they don't untap. You saw last game how clearly effective that card can be. Divination for card draw. The Chronosio, you didn't get to see this thing, but look at this. It's 4 for 3/3. It's got Vanishing 3. When it dies, if it had no time counters on it, put 2 tokens that are copies of it on the battlefield. So it dies, it comes back twice. Dies, comes back twice. It's kind of crazy, actually. This card, if you get it in play, can kind of be pretty hilarious. Phantasmal Dragon. It's a 5/5 Phantasm with flying for 4. Cryptic Command. It's great because it can be used for a counterspell, for bounce, or to tap all creatures your opponent controls, or to draw a card. You get to choose 2 of them as well. Pretty awesome. Force of Will, it's a counterspell, but the thing that makes this amazing is that you can play it without paying its casting cost by paying 1 life, not much, and exiling a blue card from your hand. It's so good. It's such a good card. And then lastly, the Temporal Mastery. It costs 7 for an extra turn, but the big thing is the Miracle, which means if you draw it from the top of your deck, you can pay its Miracle cost to play it. So if you draw it, you can pay 2 to get an extra turn. Very, very good. Thanks guys so much for watching. That's gonna do it for this episode of Friday Night Magic. Lots of people have asked me about the decks that I'm doing. Basically what I do is, unless there are new decks that come out, I go in order. So I was running from Hunter's Strength, and then I went to Advocate's Glory, now Mind Maze, and we're just gonna keep going down like this, with the exception of if there are new decks added. Now people are telling me about new decks, and I did some research. Apparently there were recently 2 new decks added to the mobile version for the iPad, but those haven't come to the PC yet. Now I did take a look at Up to Mischief, as well as Enchanter's Arsenal, which came out a few weeks ago, but I guess there are still new decks even beyond that that will be coming eventually, I'm assuming, because again, I heard they're on the iPad version. Anyway, that's enough of that. Thanks so much for watching this episode. Tune in next Friday for another episode of Friday Night Magic, and as always, keep watching and keep owning.